Hedera HBAR and the $42 mystery. Is it $42 or is it something else? We're going to solve that mystery for you. Smash the like if you haven't done so. Consider sticking to the end of the outline. There is chapters. You can watch in 2x speed, but you're going to want to hear about how we bring it all together. So with that said, glad to have Channing with me, and we're going to jump into it right now. Before we do so, though, Decent Wallet. You can get a discount. We're going to play that, and we'll come right back. If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. So just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure. All right, welcome back. So what we have for you is basically this. Understand that there's some of these guys. Mance Harmon, there's this big banquet ball, right? Mance Harmon, who doesn't get mentioned enough, he met with David Sachs discussing digital asset innovation in America. It's the dawn of U.S. leadership, of course, for the industry. Now, when we get further into David Sachs, well, he's well connected, and my main thing is like basically AI. So
he is the crypto and AI czar, is what he is. He is already very well versed. If you dive into his whole background, I'm sure a lot of people did when he was first announced as the AI czar. You know how crypto friendly and how knowledgeable he is, and all the different things that he has going on as far as crypto is concerned. And to know that Hedera is not only focusing on crypto, but also the AI part of it as well. You even have the things like the carbon credits and all of those wonderful things that are going to come into fruition as more and more time moves on. I believe initially they'll probably be with the big boys and the big players, but hell, we don't know. One day it may even filter down to us having carbon credits. You had so much trash, and now you need to offset that by these credits, and it'll be captured on Hedera's blockchain. But for the Trump administration, this upcoming administration, we have just a few more hours before the inauguration is concerned. And to know that he has been so heavily focused and strategic on placing people that have crypto and other future facing technologies at the front of their minds and at the front of the different developments that they have going on within their personal and professional lives, is only going to exacerbate the crypto and AI sector in America. It's like Trump says he's going to make America the crypto capital of the world. And he's not just talking, he's putting people in place so that can actually be a thing. So us having this crypto czar, which is crazy to keep saying, especially knowing where we've been as far as the political climate in America when it comes to crypto. And then to know that we now have a crypto council that's going to be, I believe it's like 24 of the top CEOs also now coming together and putting their input into the administration. We're looking at a new day. And I am completely here and excited for it all. Well, go ahead, brother.
Everybody, no introduction. You know who that is. Brad Garlinghouse. We also see, obviously, Mance Harmon. Again, Hedera, big win moving forward. We know that Ripple is part of the DREC Alliance along with Hedera. So glad to see this as well. And let's bring you to this. We did talk about this whole thing of price. And basically, it's like this. I want to, kind of get into this for a brief moment. So, is it 42? Well, find out for yourself. Maybe you've never seen this interview. It is Mance Harmon, and it's Dr. Lehman Baird. Listen to this. We're going to get more into it. Again, smash the like if you haven't done so already. Really appreciate you guys.
But I would be doing my viewers and a lot of people who are very, very interested in this a disservice if I didn't at least try, okay? So, price, HBAR price.
Yeah.
For me, as you guys know, I have a substantial property portfolio. I have the hotels. I have bullion. I have just purely as an asset class, purely as an investment. In my mind, it is not just the most undervalued asset in the industry. It's the most undervalued asset there is across the board. Full stop. Period, as they say in America. So I guess my question is, first of all, do you guys, are you checking them? Like, do you ring each other and want to say, have you seen the price? Have you seen, we're at 30 cent? Or do you not even really, are you aware of the price?
Of course we do. No,
So you
we
track
are.
it?
In fact, well, so Lehman and I text, yes, we text each other,
You
right?
text each other,
And
okay.
occasionally, very, very rarely,
Yeah.
it slips out into the public, right? I remember a tweet, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months ago,
Okay.
where I just tweeted 42. Right.
Okay.
So
Maybe put happy birthday before. Yeah.
Well,
Universe, life, universe, and everything.
it's a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Yes.
Galaxy, and it was kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
play on words, but of course, right? I mean, we understand that. We don't talk publicly about it
No.
because you want to describe it?
Sure.
Yeah.
We've tried from the very beginning to be following what the regulators want,
Okay.
to not be doing the wrong thing.
Okay.
The biggest crime, of course, you could do is market manipulation. That's
Yes.
the worst thing you could do. And some famous people have done tweets that they get in
What
trouble
does that
for.
mean? What does market manipulation mean for people who don't understand?
It
What does
means
that
in
mean?
some unfair way manipulating how the market goes, making the price go up and down, and doing things in
Okay.
unfair ways. Now, if you just build a good product,
Yes.
then your price may go up, and that's
Yeah,
good.
free market capitalism will
Right.
decide this is what it's worth.
But if you say, oh, you guys don't know, but tomorrow the price is about to double, then everyone buys it today because they know it's going to go up tomorrow.
Yes.
That's market manipulation. That's
And that's a criminal offence? or-
yeah, that's criminal. So
Right.
I would rather not go to
Serious
jail.
as that, though?
No, it actually is. I mean, it's very serious. Yeah. That. So we try very hard not to talk about the price of the HBAR and whether it will go up or down and when it will go up or down. The whole company, people try very hard not to do that.
Yeah.
And we take steps to make sure that we're not manipulating the markets. I heard there was a rumor that we buy and sell on timing to try to time the market to make it go up and down.
Yeah.
We do not do that at all.
No.
And we're very careful not to
Yeah.
do that. We're in a position where, with power comes responsibility, and
Yes.
if you had the ability to move the market with a tweet, then you have a responsibility not to do that.
Yes.
And so we're very careful about that.
So there's obviously a lot more in regards to this interview. Yeah, they mentioned Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it was interesting to hear Mance Harmon literally say 42, because I mean, let's face it, the guy on the left is talking about price. So HBAR to 42. Hey, I'll be more than pleased with a $42 HBAR to say the least. But for a lot of us, we got higher than that, right? And it is what it is. Some people got lower, higher. Hey, that's not the point. The point is 42. All right. Speaking of 42, let's take it on over to here. So they reference Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and basically speaking, the number 42 is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. The answer was calculated by a fictional supercomputer named Deep Thought over a period of 7.5 million years. Is it going to take 7.5 million years to reach $42? Well, some of the naysayers are going to state that, right? But whatever the case be, I want you guys to understand that when we talk about machine intelligences, well, we are talking about AI. Right? We're talking about, machine learning and some of these other key things. So is this a little hint of things to come? I don't know, but nonetheless, find it incredibly interesting, because when you get to the next part of the equation, if you want to call it that, again, some of the key findings. So just on the surface, basic search, right? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, great book, by the way. I think it's so much better than the movie, right? Supercomputer Deep Thought is built by a race of hyper-intelligent alien beings to determine the answer to life. I mean, some people think that Dr. Lehman Bear is an alien, but whatever, anyway. But as it says right here, Deep Thought determines that the answer is somewhat anticlimactically 42. It sounds like a joke, but there is more to this answer. Douglas Adams was an unabashed computer nerd and knew a heck of a lot about programming language and coding. I mean, are they referring to Mance Harmon? Are they referring to Dr. Lehman Baird? I mean, drawing your own conclusion. But in programming, an asterisk is commonly used to translate as, quote, whatever you want to be. In ASCII language, the most basic computer software, 42 is the designation for an asterisk. So a computer Deep Thought was asked what the true meaning of life was, and answered, of course, like any computer would, 42. Anything you want to be. Genius. All right. Well, is that it? No. Another thing I want to show with you guys, everybody, is again back to this whole thing. ASCII, acronym for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It's a character encoding standard for electronic communication. ASCII codes represent text in computers, telecommunications equipment, and other devices. Now, do we have 42 for the ASCII table? Well, the answer is no, but here's what's also interesting. If you go to the number 42, it mentions, of course, the asterisk. So that part is interesting. Now, here's where it gets really, really good. What you see here kind of reminds us both, let's face it, Channing, of what?
Quant.
Quant. Does kind of remind us of quant, does it not?
Absolutely.
And yeah, it absolutely does. And then when we get more into it, look what we have here. You see layer 0 to permission networks. You see Hyperledger, peer-to-peer, order, Corda, quorum. You see, for example, Hedera native implementation. And what you have in regards to the Hedera ecosystem, it's in the symbol, even though it's kind of cut off on the bottom. Sorry about that. But it's in the symbol of an asterisk. And then when we get further into it and we zoom in, endorsed transactions kicking over to Hyperledger. You have, for example, order transactions streamlined or streamed back, again, to that order for Hyperledger. What about from the Corda side of things? Counterparties, Corda node, notaries. You have consumed states, transaction hash. Again, back to Hedera, ordered, consumed states, transaction hashes, on and on. And then even to quorum, we talk about like JP Morgan and so on. There's blocks without proof of work, and there's order blocks with winner. And then again, it's just how this all kind of comes together. Interesting, again, to see the whole thing of this asterisk. Now, on top right, you're going to see some things about business logic. Let's put some emphasis on what you see in regards to Java, okay? Before we get more into this, I want to jump back to this. David Sachs, incoming White House AI and crypto czar. So again, back to the whole thing of machine learning. Machine learning connects to what? AI, right? Well, this guy obviously has a lot of followers, and you see him at the big events, yada, yada, right? Well, here's the thing. When you click on his background, mentions this right here, Craft Ventures, B2B software investors dedicated to the craft of building great companies. Now, check this out. This gets interesting because when we go even to their page, opens up some other things, right? Venture capital in craftventures.com. Well, we're not going to take you to craftventures.com because for one, it shows just a bunch of stuff. Well, we don't want to make this, 2-hour deep dive, but Craft Ventures, leading an investment in upwind security. Again, back to the whole thing of why we showed you Guardian. Think about the wind. But they joined, or are joined, I should say, by new investors. We're going to highlight a few, not all of them, but there's TCV, and there's other ones here like Greylock, and so on, right? So let's jump into TCV for a bit. So with TCV, this is good stuff. It says that as of 2020, TCV invested over $13 billion in over 350 companies. Now you got to keep in mind, they've been around for 30 years, since 1995. It says notable private investments include Airbnb, ByteDance, which we recently talked about, because we talked about, for example, at least I did it on Jasmine video. This is a huge opportunity for Jasmine, but that's another video. There's Facebook, there's GoFundMe, and there's Spotify. The firm also makes public investments in companies it previously backed when they were private, such as Netflix, Zillow, and LinkedIn. So, Channing, I mean, come on, man. Those are some big conglomerates, right? Your thoughts?
People have to realize, and this is by far not everything Hedera has going on, but just to think about it, you have Google, LG, Boeing, Shihan Bank, which is the oldest bank in China, Standard Bank, which is the largest bank in Africa. You have 5 or 6 central banks building on top of them via MTech. You have the Nairobi Stock Exchange. You have Chevron. You have Exxon. You have Saudi Aramco with ties to Hedera. You have Hyundai. You have Kia. You have all of these major organizations. You have WiseKey as far as with Seal SQ and Sealcoin. Like, it's like you have Australia's Payment Plus. It's like it just keeps going and going with all of the ties that they have reaching across so many different sectors. You just had a diamond company say that they're getting ready to tokenize $3 billion of fine jewelry on Hedera. You have Nvidia. You have Intel. You have all of these things with verifiable compute for AI. You have all of these things that they literally not only have their hand in, not just stirring the pot, but actually becoming the pot. Hedera is, like he said, it is the most undervalued, the most slept on asset class like that there is. Like, I don't think anyone has as many, and we haven't even gotten into gaming, we haven't even got into DeFi, we haven't even got into the banking sector with Bank Social and the credit unions. Like, it just keeps on going and going and going. You have Drop with Fed Now. Like, I can literally keep going for hours as far as all the connections that Hedera has going on globally. Now getting kind of sort of back into what you were talking about as far as, the crypto and the AI czar and all those companies. And it just shows you that the man that our new president chose to head and be the crypto and AI czar, he not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk. He has had his hand in developing and development of, as we can see, multiple different things and tied to major conglomerates and major corporations globally that have literally shaped our everyday life. From things like Facebook to LinkedIn, which is now the institutions, Twitter, you know what I'm saying? So kudos, Mr. Trump, for, doing the do and making things happen so that people like me, little humble me sitting here in Atlanta, looking at everything that's kind of sort of unfolding as these things keep playing out more and more. I'm so excited to hear about these executive orders that's supposed to be coming out. And hopefully he may even mention something in his inauguration speech. They'll be the first in history that AI or crypto is mentioned. So we'll see what happens. He's setting anyone up that's in the distributed ledger technology sector, in space, in headspace, and investing in these things. He's setting all of us up for success. Major success. So I kick it back to you.
We're going to get to this next part of significance. Let's jump back to what you saw originally about what was posted from this medium. So the other one we want to highlight here is this company referred to as Cyberstarts. Now, why? Well, basically, if you're to go over to cyberstarts.com, well, it gets interesting. We are here for bold founders who will build the world's most important cyber companies. Well, a lot of people boast that, and I get that. But guess what? Emphasis, this is on this guy in the bottom left. Gilly Renan, the founder. Now, why him? When you click on it, it says, I, quote, created Cyberstarts to discover and closely nurture the next generation of innovators who will build the most important cybersecurity companies. Gilly, and I might not be pronouncing it right, has been a valued first investor and mentor for more than 20 companies, including Armis, MoveIt, Adalom, Anovo, not pronouncing that right, Wiz I do know about, and Fireblocks. Fireblocks is a huge name. Now here's the other big thing. So he, for example, invested and helped build 2 enterprise software companies from zero to acquisitions by EMC and IBM. That's a big deal. He won the coveted Israel Defense Presidential Prize in 1996 for his decade of service for the Israeli Intelligence Agency and the Israeli Defense Forces Innovation Award in 92. But look at this. Some people aren't big fans of this. Sometimes, we find it annoying, but let's face it, there's significance. So he's recognized as the inventor of CAPTCHA, one of the world's most popular security algorithms, built the first WAF, web application firewall, holds 10 other U.S. patents in the fields of security. This guy's extremely smart, to say the least, right? So he is part of the Hedera mix. I think that's a big deal. Definitely wanted to share that, right? And of course, Sequoia Capital, that's a big name. Obviously part of that. Now, as we get further into this, just on the surface, if you're not aware of what CAPTCHA is, well, what about CAPTCHA and blockchain? Like, how can we bring it together? Again, blockchain and CAPTCHA can be used together to authenticate users and prevent bots from accessing accounts. So when we talk about the DREC Alliance, right, we don't want to have problems where we can't recover seed phrases but at the same time, we don't want sniper bots to come in and just destroy everything. So CAPTCHA and Hedera, hey, that's a big win moving forward, right? Absolutely. Another thing we're going to get into is another company, back to this, who is referred to as Greylock. Okay, so Greylock, what's the significance about them? Well, check this out. This gets good too. As we go over to greylock.com, we are deeply focused, like it says here, basically speaking, in areas where we see opportunities for softwares to reshape industries, create new ones. All right, well, that sounds cool, but look on the right: AI, cybersecurity, infrastructure, software as a service, marketplace and commerce, and fintech and crypto. All right, where do we go with this? Well, speaking of that part of fintech and crypto, future is money. But here's the highlight here. In their overview, they talk about being powered by rapid advances in open banking, crypto, generative AI. Money is undergoing a digital transformation that will basically do what, everybody? It will cause the breaking open of the 11 trillion of market cap trapped by legacy institutions. That sounds powerful. And of course, this includes a focus on payments, embedded fintech, vertical software as a service with embedded fintech, AI-enabled software. You get the gist. Only a few days ago, HBAR did reach the price of a 42% gain. Well, is that the mystery of 42? Not quite, but honorable mention. And as we get further into this, let's highlight this. And I thought this was big for both myself and, of course, Channing. It's solving the mystery of the 42. Discover the tools and technologies used to build Hedera Hashgraph products and services. And here's how we solve the mystery of 42. Boil it, mash it, stick it, and stew. Tech stack at Hedera Hashgraph equals 42 tools and technologies that Hedera Hashgraph uses to build, market, and sell basically what? Its products. Now, why is this important? Well, it's the languages and frameworks. And when you add all these ones up, which again, JavaScript is big, Python's big, HTML5 is big, these are all big. Guess what? All of these big ones equal to the number 42. Heck, there's even Docker. We showcased that before. And you get into some of the other ones: Amazon EC2, Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, Amazon S3. I mean, it's just on and on, right? Analytics, but it's all here. And it adds to 42. Microsoft Office 365. Telegram. I understand there's a Telegram, we talk about Toncoin and so on. But again, Discord, Zoom. I mean, all this, any form of this can be technically tied into distributed ledger technology, tokenization, payments, you name it, right? Here's your highlight. If only 1% of all these were tokenized, how much would it amount to be in potential market cap approximately? And again, taking that tech stack. So again, that is this adds up to 42, okay? And you get into the weeds of this, and there's so much to read here, right? And we're not going to get into all of it, but basically they get into all of this and the valuations like of Amazon and, so on and so forth. So basically, in conclusion, if we tokenize just 1% of these technologies, what comes up with is the potential market cap would be around 60 billion. And of course, highly speculative. We get that, right? But nonetheless, 1% is lowballing, right? That's why I think even though speculative, it's still lowballing. Now, check this out. If we go to coinmarketcap.com, well, basically speaking, I mean, if we're at 60 billion, what do we have in regards to some of this? Well, what we have is, what you see here. So, basically you can't do BNB because that's 101 billion. And the closest would be Dogecoin. Well, okay, so around Dogecoin, basically, okay? All right, so what do we have? Well, if you go to marketcapof.com, you have, if you take HBAR and Doge, HBAR with the market cap of Doge would put HBAR at roughly $1.51, a 4.26x from where we're at. All right, at minimum, in my opinion, at 1%. Okay, well, for a lot of us, we got HBAR a lot higher than that. Okay, so again, back to this. All right, what about at, for example, 5%? And then of course, they add all this up. right? So basically, again, basic math. That would put, for example, some of these crazy, examples to say the least, but nonetheless, this would bring it to, on the calculation, again, highly speculative. We can understand that everything's speculative at the end of the day. $250 billion market cap. All right. Well, what do we have that would be close to that? Well, obviously, you want to be Bitcoin. Obviously, you want to be Ethereum. But the closest thing that would be between Ethereum and XRP. Well, XRP is currently at $183 billion market cap. Right. So, all right. I guess we're going to have to pull that further down. So let's just do XRP. Let's go back to the site. With the market cap of, that would put HBAR at $4.78, which is basically a little over 13, almost 13.5x from here. And, I'm not complaining about a $4.78 HBAR, but I will state this for the record, and that basically is this. The way I look at it is, I have HBAR a heck of a lot higher even than what you see there. So, again, we're just trying to give you guys examples, a low ball on it. But in my opinion, this does solve the mystery of the 42. But again, go back to the video where it shows Mance Harmon, and he's asked, and first he brings up 42. So there is that, and people could take it as you will. But for me, I was trying to, where are they going with the 42? It's the tech stack. That in itself, man, oh man. I mean, unbounded scale, to say the least. And again, I just want to get some of your closing thoughts in that regard, Channing, with the findings.
So going maybe about a year ago, there was an interview done with, I believe his name is Duncan Moore, who was the CEO of Aberdeen, one of Hedera governing council members. But just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he just announced that he actually left Aberdeen, and he is now the president of 21 Shares. But he is still a board member of Hedera. But going back to that interview, what he said was he sees Hedera as a top 5 project. And putting that around that $250 billion market cap would solidly land them in the top 5. And with everything that they have going on, with all of the 42 different tech stacks and everything that comes along with those tech stacks and the tokenization of any of that, I see it. Like I said, I don't want to say too much because I know all of this is very highly speculative and all just opinion and no true hardcore facts and evidence as of right now. But I truly feel that one day in the very near future, everything that we're talking about will come to pass. And again, anyone who's holding HBAR and believe in the project and believe that there's a future for it will one day be very happy that they took the time to even try to understand anything about what Hedera has going on. So is it speculative? Yes, but I definitely, especially if the market is 11, 20, $100 trillion, give it a decade of years of onboarding of the traditional players, onboarding of tokenization of, stocks and bonds and securities and art and houses and cars and, all of these things, money. that's the huge tokenization, source that's going on right now is the tokenization of money. You have things like Project Agora going on and all these other things where I can see this market cap of crypto overall, being trillions, if not quadrillions one day. And to say that Hedera, when that happens, won't have a huge market cap because of everything that it has going on, technically is, I think it's a no-brainer. But so I think 42 might be 42 cents soon, because we're hovering around at 35, 34, 33 right now, and 42 maybe dollars one day. I mean, when you do the math on that, it's not that unattainable.
Thanks so much for tuning in. On behalf of myself and Channing, we can't thank you enough. Here's your code word if you listen to the entire outline, and that is 42. And we'll know that you listen to the entire outline.